Guys, we are getting close. Some private entity called Democracy Watch is suing Justin Trudeau over the SNC-Lavalin case. We're getting really close. In other news, Justin Trudeau's public safety minister, David McGuinty, came out today and he listed off all of the transnational criminal organizations that Canada is now going to list as terrorist organizations. And this is coming out right at the same time as the Americans are doing it. Guys, this is Parmesan from Niagara Due North. Welcome to the show. Good morning, Canada. Are you honestly still here after that? I'm sorry. But thank you for supporting the channel. We do really important stuff here, as you noticed. So let's rewind 6 years. SNC-Lavalin. The old Jody Wilson-Raybould scandal. Remember that name? She was the Attorney General. Wouldn't abide by Justin Trudeau's orders, so he fired her. That was a major scandal. That was one of his first ones. It's crazy how many this guy's had. Well, the RCMP completely buried it. They gave it off to them, and they did absolutely nothing with it. It's crazy how connected this guy is. He's very powerful. Another thing that's really crazy is it took 6 years for someone to do this. I would like to know the motivation behind this timing and not 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or 4 years ago. But let me show you the announcement.
Given the evidence and given as well that the RCMP did not apply the correct legal standard in terms of reviewing the evidence and determining whether there had been an obstruction of justice, and also given that the RCMP did not consider in its investigation whether the Prime Minister or anyone else had committed a breach of trust, Democracy Watch is today filing an application in Ontario Court of Justice for court approval to pursue a private prosecution of these allegations of obstruction of justice and breach of trust.
So there you have it. It's pretty great news, right? Hopefully maybe a private entity will be able to pursue this a little bit farther than the RCMP is not willing to. At this point, I think Pierre will do it. So, I think when Pierre gets a mandate, he's going to just go through all of this stuff. I think we're going to find a lot of criminal wrongdoings. In other news, ladies and gentlemen, Public Safety Minister David McGuinty made an announcement just an hour ago listing off all of the transnational criminal organizations that Canada's going to list off as a terrorist group. I've always been a fan of getting rid of cartels. And I didn't put the stuff in the video, but somebody asked a question about all of these other people that aren't listed as terrorist organizations like Hell's Angels and why the cartels are listed as terrorist organizations. And you know what? There are technical loopholes there that people could argue the cartels not go on the terrorist watch list. But the important thing is surveillance. When they're listed terrorist organizations, they get surveilled. They get drone surveillance. The US and Canada can impeach on their privacy, okay, and they can know every move they're making all the time. Okay, it's not an Al-Qaeda situation. Like, yes, maybe they're not terrorists. They're probably more terrorists in Mexico than they are in the United States, but this tucks them into a category that gets them special treatment that they deserve, right? I don't think anybody can disagree with that, okay? And I don't think anyone could disagree with that. Comment down below. Do you think the cartels should be on a terrorist watch list, right? I don't think it should have got this far, to be honest with you. But let's go over. We have the list of all 7 newly founded terrorist organizations. The cartels that are getting put on the terrorism watch list are as follows: Sinaloa Cartel, Jalisco New Generation Cartel, Gulf Cartel, La Familia Michoacana, Carteles Unidos, United Cartels. What is it? Mera Salvatrucha, which is MS-13, and Tren de Aragua, which is brand new and probably shouldn't be on there. Cool. Cool. I am pretty sure they're missing one of them. Pretty sure. But they got the Sinaloa on there, so that's good. That's good. Guys, these people hang people from overpasses. Okay? Just to make an example. That's it. The cartels are crazy. I don't think they're this good. Like, I think SEAL Team 6 can do a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? I don't think that we need to send troops. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of ways you can get rid of these guys. All you need is to know where they are, what they're doing, what they operate, and you don't even really have to kill any of them. You can just destroy everything they own, take everything away from them, arrest them all. So, I know. I'm just joking, guys. Let's get into today's really important news.
Over the last several weeks, our government has made a series of announcements to combat the production, the distribution, and the trafficking of illegal synthetic opioids like fentanyl. We made the largest investment in Canadian history into Canadian border security with a $1.3 billion investment. We will ban more precursors from entering Canada unchecked. We appointed a fentanyl czar to coordinate between all levels of government, agencies, and law enforcement to tackle the fentanyl crisis, which is ravaging our communities. And today, we're going after the money. This morning, we are announcing that the Government of Canada is listing 7 transnational criminal organizations as terrorist entities under Canada's Criminal Code. Transnational criminal organizations, including cartels, play a leading role in the production and distribution of fentanyl throughout Canada. To rid Canada of this scourge, our government will ensure law enforcement has every tool available to dismantle and disrupt the operations of these organizations in our communities. These listed entities are organized crime groups that spread fear in local populations by using methods of extreme violence and are known for drug trafficking, human trafficking, and trafficking in illegal guns. The listing of an entity under the Criminal Code follows a rigorous and ongoing process that must meet a legal threshold. Listings are, in fact, based on evidence, intelligence, and the law. All 7 of these transnational criminal organizations clearly meet this threshold. Once an entity is listed, it is considered to be a terrorist group under the Criminal Code. The Criminal Code prohibits certain actions in relation to terrorist groups, including those related to terrorist financing, travel, and recruitment. It is prohibited for any person in Canada, as well as every Canadian abroad, to knowingly deal with the property of a terrorist group. Let me repeat that. It is prohibited for any person in Canada, as well as every Canadian abroad, to knowingly deal with the property of a terrorist group. To avoid criminal liability, banks and brokerages will freeze these entities' assets, which can then be the subject of seizure, restraint, or forfeiture. It is also an offence to collect property or provide financial or other related services, knowing it will benefit or be used by a terrorist group. We continue to review and evaluate for potential listing of any additional transnational organized crime groups that may pose a risk to people in Canada and Canadians abroad and Canada's national security. If the required threshold is met, we will not hesitate to list them as terrorist entities as well. The measures we are taking will help keep fentanyl off Canadian streets and from entering the United States. To speak plainly, we are moving aggressively, using every tool in our toolbox to take the profit out of drug trafficking. From today's listings to working closely with our United States partners, to stopping the smuggling of drugs and firearms that hurt communities in both of our countries, we will continue to do all we can to keep Canada safe. Canadians should know we have a strong border, and we are making it stronger. Listing is just one of the many tools that the government has at its disposal to protect and preserve the safety and security of Canadians and everyone who calls Canada home. Thank you very much. Merci.
And there you have it, folks. Mr. Liberal himself. Nah, I feel bad that this guy needs to be associated with Trudeau. I feel bad that any of the that any of the Atlantic guys that got to deal with Trudeau, man. I think Trudeau showed up and took them all through the frickin' loop, man. I don't think any of the Atlantic guys were ready for him. Cool. Look. None of these guys get any credit for any of this stuff. They started it. Guys, I'm not going to be one of those guys that pretends that there wasn't some kind of crazy, huge global conspiracy. I got my tinfoil hat, and I don't really give a crap, because Trudeau brought the fentanyl crisis on purpose. He helped create it. And these guys worked with him on it. So, God, I don't even believe that any of this stuff is going to work. It's really easy for Canada to put the cartels on a terrorism watch list and then walk away. It's the same as condemning, right? You know, they can just as easily just condemn the cartels for what they're doing. You know, nothing's going to happen. Did you guys like my show today? I do everything by myself here because I don't have any pro, any plus, any memberships, and no subscriptions. So my channel sucks, and I completely just dive right into the shittiness and make everything just horrible on purpose, guys. And this channel is very young, and there's lots more to come. Right now, I'm working on lower thirds so I can pump out stupid statements on the bottom of the screen. Oh, man. Like, comment, and subscribe down below, folks. I'm your host, Parmesan, and this is Niagara Due North. I will see you next time.